What if I told you that a 2,000-year-old philosophy holds the key to surviving the chaos of modern America? And what if the very systems profiting from your anxiety, your impulse purchases, and your constant need for validation don't want you to discover this ancient wisdom? Today we're embarking on a deep dive into Stoicism versus modern America. What you're about to learn will fundamentally change how you see the world around you. We're going to explore why Stoicism, the philosophy of emperors, slaves, and warriors, is more relevant today than ever before. We'll uncover how modern American culture systematically undermines the very principles that could set you free. But this isn't just ancient history. This is about your life, your mental health, your relationships, your career, and your freedom in 2025. We're going to examine real case studies, dive deep into the psychology behind modern manipulation, and provide you with practical tools that you can implement immediately. Without wasting your time, let's explore the complete picture. How Stoicism emerged from ancient wisdom, how it was systematically dismantled by modern consumer culture, and how you can reclaim this philosophy to transform your life. So grab your popcorn and settle in, because what they don't want you to know is about to be revealed in full detail. To understand why Stoicism threatens modern American culture, we need to dive deep into what Stoicism actually is. And I'm willing to bet it's nothing like what you've been told. The year was 300 BCE. Athens was still reeling from the chaos following Alexander the Great's death. Political instability, economic uncertainty, and social upheaval dominated daily life. Sound familiar? It was in this environment that Zeno of Citium, a merchant who had lost everything in a shipwreck, began teaching under a painted colonnade called the Stoa Poikile. His students became known as Stoics, those who gathered at the porch. But Zeno wasn't starting from scratch. He was building on centuries of Greek philosophical thought, combining elements from Heraclitus's ideas about logos, Socratic ethics, and Cynic virtue theory. The Stoic school evolved through three main periods. Early Stoicism with Zeno and Cleanthes, Middle Stoicism with Panaetius, and Late Stoicism with Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, the three philosophers whose works survive today. Chrysippus, the third head of the Stoic school, wrote over 700 works and developed the logical framework that made Stoicism a complete philosophical system. He taught that virtue is the only true good, that emotions are judgments we can control, and that we should live according to nature. When Rome conquered Greece, they didn't just take land, they took ideas. Roman aristocrats like Cato the Younger embraced Stoicism as a philosophy of integrity and public service. This wasn't abstract theory. This was practical wisdom for governing an empire. Lucius Annaeus Seneca, advisor to Emperor Nero, embodied the complexity of applying Stoic principles in the real world. Despite his wealth, he wrote extensively about moderation and virtue. His letters to Lucilius remain some of the most practical philosophical advice ever written. Epictetus, born a slave, developed perhaps the most psychologically sophisticated understanding of human freedom. His discourses and Enchiridion provide a framework for mental resilience that modern cognitive therapy still draws from. Finally, Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king. His meditations weren't meant for publication. They were private reflections of a man trying to live philosophically while managing the most powerful empire in history. These weren't armchair philosophers. They were people dealing with real challenges, political corruption, personal loss, physical suffering, and moral dilemmas. Their solutions weren't theoretical. They were tested in the fires of actual experience. The Stoics built their entire philosophy on four cardinal virtues, each one a direct challenge to how modern America operates. Let's examine each pillar and why they're so threatening to current systems. The first virtue is wisdom, but not just intellectual knowledge. Stoic wisdom is the ability to navigate complex situations ethically and effectively. It's understanding the difference between what you can and cannot control. Compare this to modern America, where we're drowning in information but starving for wisdom. We have more data at our fingertips than any civilization in history, yet people report feeling more confused and anxious than ever. The information economy profits from keeping you confused and reactionary. True wisdom, the ability to think clearly and independently, threatens systems built on emotional manipulation and impulse decisions. The second virtue is justice, not just legal compliance, but doing what's right for the common good. The Stoics believed you had duties to your family, community, and humanity as a whole. Modern American culture promotes radical individualism. Look out for number one. Greed is good. Winner takes all. This directly contradicts Stoic justice, which emphasizes our interconnectedness and mutual obligations. When Stoic justice guides decisions, you ask, how does this affect everyone? When profit maximization guides decisions, you ask, how does this benefit me? These are fundamentally different approaches to life and business. The third virtue is courage, not just physical bravery, but the strength to do what's right even when it's difficult, unpopular, or costly. In modern America, we're often encouraged to conform, to avoid conflict, to go along with the crowd. Real courage, the courage to live by your principles when everyone else is compromising, is rare and threatening to systems that depend on compliance. Stoic courage means having difficult conversations, making unpopular decisions, and standing firm in your values even when it costs you socially or financially. The fourth virtue is temperance, moderation, self-discipline, and the ability to resist excess in all its forms. This is perhaps the most threatening virtue to modern American culture. Our entire economy is built on intemperance, overconsumption, overwork, overstimulation, and overreaction. Temperance isn't about deprivation, it's about freedom. When you're not controlled by your appetites, when you can choose your responses rather than being driven by impulses, you become incredibly powerful and much harder to manipulate. The foundation of all Stoic practice is understanding the dichotomy of control. This single concept, properly understood and applied, can transform your entire relationship with stress, anxiety, and suffering. Epictetus taught that some things are within our control and some things are not. What's within our control? Our judgments, our decisions, our responses, our values, and our actions. Everything else, other people's actions, the weather, the economy, the past, the future, is outside our direct control. Most human suffering comes from trying to control what we cannot control, while neglecting what we actually can control. We spend enormous energy trying to change other people, predict the future, or fix the past, while ignoring our own thoughts, habits, and responses. Think about your last week. How much mental energy did you spend worrying about things completely outside your control? The stock market, political elections, what other people think of you, whether it will rain tomorrow. The Stoic focuses their energy exclusively on what they can influence: their effort, their attitude, their preparation, their response to events. This isn't passive resignation, it's strategic focus. An archer can't control the wind, but they can control their stance, their breathing, their aim, and their release. They prepare for various conditions, but don't waste energy trying to change the weather. This principle alone, fully internalized, eliminates most forms of anxiety, resentment, and frustration. It's why the Stoics could maintain peace of mind in the most challenging circumstances. To understand how far we've strayed from Stoic principles, we need to examine how modern American consumer culture was deliberately engineered to make you dissatisfied, impulsive, and dependent. The year was 1955. World War II was over, the economy was booming, and American manufacturers faced a new problem. They had become incredibly efficient at producing goods, but people weren't buying enough to sustain growth. Enter Edward Bernays, the father of public relations and nephew of Sigmund Freud. Bernays realized that selling products based on need was limited, but selling based on desire, fear, and unconscious drives was unlimited. Bernays pioneered the idea of linking products to emotions and identity. You weren't buying a car, you were buying freedom, status, and masculinity. You weren't buying a dress, you were buying beauty, acceptance, and love. The post-war period saw the systematic targeting of different demographics with specific psychological messages. Women were told that their worth came from their role as consumers for their families. Men were told that their identity was tied to their purchasing power. Shopping centers became the new town squares. Consumption became a patriotic duty. Good Americans bought things to keep the economy strong. The idea that you could be content with what you had became almost unpatriotic. The second virtue is justice, not just legal compliance, but doing what's right for the common good. The Stoics believed you had duties to your family, community, and humanity as a whole. Modern American culture promotes radical individualism. Look out for number one. Greed is good. Winner takes all. This directly contradicts Stoic justice, which emphasizes our interconnectedness and mutual obligations. When Stoic justice guides decisions, you ask, how does this affect everyone? When profit maximization guides decisions, you ask, how does this benefit me? These are fundamentally different approaches to life and business. The third virtue is courage, not just physical bravery, but the strength to do what's right even when it's difficult, unpopular, or costly. In modern America, we're often encouraged to conform, to avoid conflict, to go along with the crowd. Real courage, the courage to live by your principles when everyone else is compromising, is rare and threatening to systems that depend on compliance. Stoic courage means having difficult conversations, making unpopular decisions, and standing firm in your values even when it costs you socially or financially. The fourth virtue is temperance, moderation, self-discipline, and the ability to resist excess in all its forms. This is perhaps the most threatening virtue to modern American culture. Our entire economy is built on intemperance, overconsumption, overwork, overstimulation, and overreaction. Temperance isn't about deprivation, it's about freedom. When you're not controlled by your appetites, when you can choose your responses rather than being driven by impulses, you become incredibly powerful and much harder to manipulate. The foundation of all Stoic practice is understanding the dichotomy of control. This single concept, properly understood and applied, can transform your entire relationship with stress, anxiety, and suffering. Epictetus taught that some things are within our control and some things are not. What's within our control? Our judgments, our decisions, our responses, our values, and our actions. Everything else, other people's actions, the weather, the economy, the past, the future, is outside our direct control. Most human suffering comes from trying to control what we cannot control, while neglecting what we actually can control. We spend enormous energy trying to change other people, predict the future, or fix the past, while ignoring our own thoughts, habits, and responses. Think about your last week. How much mental energy did you spend worrying about things completely outside your control? The stock market, political elections, what other people think of you, whether it will rain tomorrow. The Stoic focuses their energy exclusively on what they can influence: their effort, their attitude, their preparation, their response to events. This isn't passive resignation, it's strategic focus. An archer can't control the wind, but they can control their stance, their breathing, their aim, and their release. They prepare for various conditions, but don't waste energy trying to change the weather. This principle alone, fully internalized, eliminates most forms of anxiety, resentment, and frustration. It's why the Stoics could maintain peace of mind in the most challenging circumstances. To understand how far we've strayed from Stoic principles, we need to examine how modern American consumer culture was deliberately engineered to make you dissatisfied, impulsive, and dependent. The year was 1955. World War II was over, the economy was booming, and American manufacturers faced a new problem. They had become incredibly efficient at producing goods, but people weren't buying enough to sustain growth. Enter Edward Bernays, the father of public relations and nephew of Sigmund Freud. Bernays realized that selling products based on need was limited, but selling based on desire, fear, and unconscious drives was unlimited. Bernays pioneered the idea of linking products to emotions and identity. You weren't buying a car, you were buying freedom, status, and masculinity. You weren't buying a dress, you were buying beauty, acceptance, and love. The post-war period saw the systematic targeting of different demographics with specific psychological messages. Women were told that their worth came from their role as consumers for their families. Men were told that their identity was tied to their purchasing power. Shopping centers became the new town squares. Consumption became a patriotic duty. Good Americans bought things to keep the economy strong. The idea that you could be content with what you had became almost unpatriotic. Then came the credit revolution. Why save money to buy something when you could have it now and pay later? This fundamentally changed the relationship between desire and acquisition, making impulse purchases easier than ever. By the 1970s, the pattern was established. Create dissatisfaction, offer a product solution, make purchase as easy as possible, repeat. The average American now sees over 5,000 advertising messages per day, each one designed to make you feel incomplete without their product. The result? Americans today have more material wealth than Roman emperors, but report lower levels of life satisfaction. We've achieved unprecedented prosperity while losing the wisdom to enjoy it. Modern marketing isn't just persuasion, it's psychological manipulation based on decades of research into human cognitive biases and emotional triggers. Let's examine the specific techniques used to undermine Stoic principles. The scarcity principle exploits our fear of missing out. Limited time offer. Only 3 left in stock. Sale ends tonight. These create artificial urgency that bypasses rational decision-making. A Stoic asks, do I actually need this, or am I being manipulated by artificial time pressure? They recognize that truly valuable things are rarely subject to flash sales and countdown timers. Everyone else is doing it became a powerful sales tool. Social media amplified this by making everyone's purchases visible and creating pressure to keep up with carefully curated lifestyles. The rise of influencer culture, professionalized social proof. People are literally paid to appear happy with products, creating artificial social evidence that you need these items to be successful or attractive. Modern marketing doesn't sell products, it sells identity. You're not buying shoes, you're buying the identity of an athlete. You're not buying a phone, you're buying membership in an innovative, creative community. This is particularly insidious because it makes consumption feel like self-expression rather than manipulation. People defend their brand choices as if defending their personality. Modern advertising rarely focuses on product features or rational benefits. Instead, it creates emotional associations: happiness, love, success, security, belonging. The Stoic approach is the opposite. Evaluate based on actual utility, quality, and need rather than emotional associations created by marketing teams. Perhaps most sophisticated is the hijacking of our brain's reward systems. Every like, share, purchase confirmation, and delivery notification triggers a small dopamine release, training us to seek these experiences compulsively. This creates what researchers call continuous partial attention. We're constantly seeking the next hit of stimulation, making deep focus and contentment much more difficult to achieve. Your attention has become the most valuable resource in the modern economy. Tech companies employ teams of neuroscientists, behavioral economists, and addiction specialists to capture and monetize your focus. This represents a fundamental assault on Stoic principles. In Silicon Valley, they call it engagement optimization. But what they're really designing is behavioral addiction. Variable ratio reward schedules, infinite scroll, push notifications, and social validation loops are all borrowed from casino psychology. The pull-to-refresh mechanism on your phone is literally modeled after slot machine handles. The uncertainty of what you'll find creates the same neurological response as gambling. Neuroscience shows that heavy social media use creates similar brain patterns to substance addiction: tolerance, needing more stimulation for the same effect, withdrawal, anxiety when disconnected, and relapse, returning to compulsive use despite negative consequences. The average knowledge worker checks email every 6 minutes and changes tasks every 3 minutes. This isn't productivity, it's the systematic fragmentation of human consciousness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." But the attention economy profits from the opposite, keeping you constantly jumping between past regrets, future anxieties, and artificial present-moment urgencies. Research shows that it takes an average of 23 minutes to regain deep focus after an interruption. In a world of constant notifications, many people never achieve sustained concentration, leading to decreased work quality and increased stress. Social media promises connection, but often delivers its opposite. Curated highlight reels create comparison and envy. Online interactions lack the depth and vulnerability of real relationships. The Stoics valued friendship as the sharing of wisdom and mutual support in virtue. Modern social media friendship often involves performing an idealized version of yourself for an audience of acquaintances. Seneca wrote, "Nothing is ours except time." In the modern context, this means nothing is ours except attention. Learning to direct your focus consciously rather than being pulled by algorithms is perhaps the most important skill of our era. This doesn't mean rejecting technology entirely, but approaching it like a Stoic, with intention, moderation, and awareness of its effects on your mind and character. The human cost of the attention economy is becoming clear. Increased rates of anxiety, depression, ADHD, sleep disorders, and relationship problems. We're trading our mental health for corporate profits. The Stoic alternative is simple but revolutionary. Choose depth over breadth, quality over quantity, intention over impulse. In a world designed to scatter your attention, focused consciousness becomes an act of rebellion. Modern America has developed what we might call an outrage industrial complex, a system of media, politics, and social platforms that profit from keeping you emotionally dysregulated. This is the antithesis of Stoic emotional mastery. When you're angry, afraid, or outraged, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thinking, goes offline. You become more impulsive, more tribal, and more likely to share content, click links, and make purchases. Modern news media has discovered that fear and anger drive viewership better than information. The average news story is presented with the urgency of a natural disaster, even when it's relatively mundane. Social media algorithms amplify content that generates strong emotional responses because emotion drives engagement. Moderate, nuanced viewpoints get buried while extreme positions dominate your feed. The outrage cycle provides a powerful psychological reward, the feeling of moral superiority. When you're angry at those people for their wrong opinions, you get to feel righteous and intelligent by comparison. This creates echo chambers where people seek out information that confirms their existing beliefs and makes them feel good about their moral positions rather than seeking truth or understanding. Marcus Aurelius faced real threats to the Roman Empire, yet his writings show remarkable emotional equanimity. He approached problems with reason rather than reactivity. The Stoic approach to disturbing news or events follows a simple decision tree. Can I directly influence this situation? If yes, what constructive action can I take? If no, why am I giving it emotional energy? This doesn't mean ignoring important issues, but engaging with them rationally rather than emotionally. You can stay informed without being outraged, and you can take action without being reactive. Modern political campaigns are exercises in emotional manipulation. They work by making you afraid of the other side and angry at current conditions, then presenting themselves as your emotional salvation. A Stoic citizen evaluates leaders based on their character, track record, and proposed policies, not their ability to trigger emotional responses or make them feel good about their existing beliefs. Breaking free from the outrage cycle requires developing what the Stoics called ataraxia, undisturbability. This doesn't mean becoming passive, but becoming strategic about where you direct your emotional energy. Real change happens through sustained, rational action in your community, not through angry posts on social media. The energy you spend being outraged online could be directed toward actual problem solving in the real world. Modern American culture increasingly promotes what psychologists call external locus of control, the belief that your life outcomes are primarily determined by forces outside your influence. This directly contradicts the Stoic emphasis on personal agency and responsibility. Don't misunderstand. Real victimization exists, and systemic problems are real. But there's a difference between acknowledging genuine injustices and adopting a victim identity that disempowers you from taking constructive action. Modern therapeutic culture sometimes encourages people to spend years analyzing how their past shaped them, without sufficient focus on how they can shape their future. Understanding your history is important, but it shouldn't become an excuse for indefinite passivity. Epictetus was literally a slave, someone with less external control over his circumstances than almost anyone. Yet he developed one of history's most sophisticated philosophies of human freedom and personal responsibility. Viktor Frankl, echoing Stoic principles in the 20th century, observed that even in the most extreme circumstances, Nazi concentration camps, people retain the power to choose their attitude and response. This doesn't mean ignoring structural problems or pretending that circumstances don't matter. It means focusing your energy on what you can influence rather than what you can't. The Stoics distinguish between understanding why something happened, explanation, and using that understanding to justify an action, excuse. Your past explains your present, but doesn't excuse your failure to work toward a better future. Effective therapy helps you understand your patterns so you can change them. Less effective therapy keeps you stuck analyzing your problems without developing the tools to solve them. Taking responsibility isn't about blame or shame. It's about recognizing your power. When you accept that your responses are under your control, you become less dependent on external circumstances for your well-being. Research consistently shows that people with an internal locus of control, those who believe their actions significantly influence their outcomes, have better mental health, higher achievement, and greater life satisfaction. The greatest social reformers in history, from Marcus Aurelius to Martin Luther King Jr., combined recognition of systemic problems with unwavering personal agency. They didn't let awareness of injustice become an excuse for personal passivity. You can simultaneously work to change unjust systems and take full responsibility for your own character, choices, and responses. These aren't contradictory, they're complementary. Both political parties and consumer culture benefit when you feel powerless. Powerless people are easier to manipulate, more likely to seek external salvation, and less likely to develop genuine self-reliance. The Stoic path is more challenging but more empowering. Accept what you cannot control, take full responsibility for what you can control, and work diligently to expand your sphere of influence through virtuous action. America has become a culture of instant gratification, and this fundamental shift in how we relate to time and desire represents perhaps the greatest threat to Stoic virtue in the modern world. In 1950, if you wanted something, you had to plan ahead, save money, and wait. This natural delay created space for reflection. Do I really need this? Can I afford it? Is this the best use of my resources? Today, that space for reflection has been systematically eliminated. Fast food, instant streaming, one-click purchasing, payday loans, fast fashion. Everything is designed to minimize the time between desire and fulfillment. This rewires your brain. The dopamine system, evolved to motivate long-term planning and delayed reward, becomes conditioned to expect immediate satisfaction. When it doesn't get it, you experience genuine withdrawal symptoms: anxiety, restlessness, and craving. The Stanford marshmallow experiment showed that children who could delay eating one marshmallow to get to later had better life outcomes decades later. Higher SAT scores, better health, lower rates of addiction, and higher life satisfaction. Yet modern American culture systematically trains us to fail the marshmallow test as adults. Credit cards let us have things now and pay later. Streaming services eliminate the need to choose what to watch. Dating apps eliminate the need to develop relationships gradually. Seneca practiced what he called voluntary discomfort, deliberately choosing temporary hardship to build mental resilience. He would sleep on the floor, eat simple food, and take cold baths, not from necessity, but from choice. The Stoics understood that strength comes from resistance. Physical muscles grow by working against weight. Mental muscles grow by working against impulse, comfort, and immediate gratification. This doesn't mean unnecessary suffering, but strategic discomfort. Choosing to exercise when you don't feel like it. Having difficult conversations instead of avoiding them. Saving money instead of spending impulsively. Small acts of delayed gratification compound dramatically. The person who saves $10 a day instead of buying coffee has thousands of dollars at year's end. The person who exercises instead of watching TV has dramatically better health over time. These small choices, repeated daily, create entirely different life trajectories. The instant gratification path leads to debt, poor health, shallow relationships, and long-term dissatisfaction. The delayed gratification path leads to financial security, physical vitality, deep relationships, and genuine fulfillment. Rebuilding your capacity for delayed gratification is like rebuilding physical fitness. It requires gradual, consistent practice. Start small. Wait 5 minutes before checking your phone. Save money for a week before making a non-essential purchase. The Stoics understood that anything worthwhile takes time to develop. Character, relationship, skills, and wisdom all require patience and sustained effort. In a world obsessed with quick fixes, the patient person has an enormous advantage. The Stoics understood that how you begin and end each day determines the quality of your entire life. Let's examine the specific practices that can transform your daily experience and build genuine resilience against modern manipulation. Marcus Aurelius began each day by writing in his personal journal, preparing his mind for the challenges ahead. His meditations are essentially a record of these morning reflections, a man reminding himself of his principles before facing the world. The modern Stoic morning begins with what Seneca called preparing the mind. This isn't just positive thinking, it's strategic mental preparation. You review your schedule and ask, what challenges might I face today? How do I want to respond? What virtues will I need to practice? Negative visualization plays a key role. You briefly imagine potential setbacks, traffic delays, difficult conversations, work stress, not to create anxiety, but to prepare mentally. When these things happen, you're not caught off guard. You've already decided how to respond. The Stoic morning avoids what Ryan Holiday calls the morning anxiety machine, immediately checking news, social media, and email. These flood your mind with other people's agendas before you've set your own intentions. Gratitude practice isn't just feel-good philosophy. It's rewiring your brain to notice abundance rather than scarcity. Spend 5 minutes writing 3 specific things you're grateful for and why. Priority setting. Identify the 3 most important things you could accomplish today. Not the most urgent, not the easiest, but the most important for your long-term goals and values. Breathing practice. 3 minutes of conscious breathing to activate your parasympathetic nervous system and center your mind. This creates a buffer between sleep and the demands of the day. Seneca wrote, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine the whole day and go back over what I have done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by." The evening examination isn't about self-criticism, it's about self-awareness. What went well today? Where did I act according to my values? Where did I fall short? What can I learn for tomorrow? Pay particular attention to emotional reactions. When did I get angry, anxious, or frustrated today? What triggered these emotions? How could I respond differently next time? Virtue tracking. Identify 3 moments when you acted courageously, justly, wisely, or with temperance. This reinforces positive patterns and builds confidence in your ability to live according to your values. Resource review. How did you spend your time, money, and energy today? Were these expenditures aligned with your stated priorities and values? Tomorrow's preparation. Based on today's experiences, what's most important to focus on tomorrow? What challenges should you prepare for? What opportunities should you prioritize? These practices seem simple, but their compound effect is extraordinary. 10 minutes of morning intention setting and 10 minutes of evening reflection, practiced consistently for a year, creates profound changes in self-awareness, emotional regulation, and life satisfaction. People who maintain these practices report feeling more in control of their lives, less reactive to external circumstances, and more aligned with their authentic values. They become harder to manipulate and more resistant to the emotional volatility that characterizes modern life. The key is consistency, not perfection. If you only have 5 minutes in the morning, use them intentionally. If you miss a day, return to the practice without self-judgment. You can adapt these practices to your circumstances. Reflect during your commute, use lunch breaks for gratitude practice, or do evening review while walking the dog. The format matters less than the intention and consistency. The Stoics developed sophisticated techniques for emotional regulation that modern neuroscience has validated. These aren't about suppressing emotions, but about choosing your responses consciously rather than being controlled by reactive patterns. Epictetus taught that emotions are not caused by external events, but by our judgments about those events. It's not what happens to you that determines your emotional state. It's what you tell yourself about what happens. Consider 2 people stuck in traffic. One becomes furious, honking and cursing. The other uses the time to listen to music or plan their day. Same external circumstance, completely different internal experience. The difference lies in their judgments and interpretations. The most powerful technique is the simplest, the pause. Between any stimulus and your response, there's a space. In that space lies your freedom to choose your reaction. Most people go directly from trigger to reaction, skipping the crucial moment of choice. The Stoic trains to expand that pause, creating space for wisdom rather than just impulse. The 10-second rule: before responding to any emotionally charged situation, count to 10 while breathing deeply. This activates your prefrontal cortex and deactivates your amygdala. The peace test. Before reacting, ask yourself, is this worth disturbing my peace of mind? Most things aren't when you really consider it. The importance filter. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years, 5 months, 5 days? This helps you choose your emotional battles wisely. The Stoics practiced what modern psychology calls cognitive reframing, consciously changing your interpretation of events to reduce their emotional impact. For example, instead of seeing a job rejection as evidence that you're not good enough, you could frame it as redirection toward a better suited opportunity. Instead of seeing criticism as attack, you could frame it as feedback for improvement. Epictetus taught the discipline of desire, learning to want what happens rather than demanding that what you want should happen. This doesn't mean becoming passive, but accepting what you cannot control while working on what you can. If it rains on your picnic, you can spend energy being upset about the weather, which you can't control, or you can adapt your plans and find indoor alternatives, which you can control. Marcus Aurelius practiced what he called the view from above, imagining your current problems from a cosmic perspective. How significant is your current worry when viewed from space? How about from the perspective of 100 years from now? This isn't about minimizing real problems, but about maintaining perspective. Most of what we worry about daily won't matter much in the long run. The advanced practitioner learns to experience emotions fully while not being controlled by them. You can feel anger without acting angrily. You can feel fear without being paralyzed. You can feel sadness without being overwhelmed. This creates what the Stoics called ataraxia, unperturbability, not the absence of feeling, but the presence of choice in how you respond to feelings. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Whenever you want to cheer yourself, consider the good qualities of your companions." But what about truly difficult people? The Stoic approach: protect yourself practically while not being emotionally hijacked. Set clear boundaries. Remove yourself from toxic situations when possible. But don't let difficult people control your internal state. Advanced practitioners even view difficult people as training opportunities, chances to practice patience, courage, and wisdom in challenging circumstances. The final and perhaps most important aspect of practical Stoicism is developing what Nassim Taleb calls anti-fragility. Not just surviving adversity, but becoming stronger because of it. This is the ultimate antidote to a culture that profits from your weakness. Most people think resilience is the goal, bouncing back from setbacks unchanged. But the Stoics aimed higher. They sought to become stronger, wiser, and more virtuous through adversity. Just as muscles grow stronger by working against resistance, character grows stronger by working through challenges. The Stoics saw every difficulty as an opportunity for virtue development. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This isn't just motivational speaking. It's a practical philosophy for turning problems into opportunities. Every obstacle forces you to develop new skills, discover hidden strengths, or find creative solutions you wouldn't have needed otherwise. The person who loses their job may discover a better career path. The couple who faces relationship challenges may develop deeper communication skills. Voluntary adversity. Regularly choose challenges that stretch your capabilities. Take cold showers, have difficult conversations. Try new skills where you're likely to fail initially. Consistency under pressure. Maintain your important practices even when it's inconvenient. Exercise when you don't feel like it. Meditate when you're stressed. Eat well when you're busy. Failure reframing. After every setback, ask 3 questions. What did I learn? How did I grow? What opportunities does this create? The anti-fragile person doesn't depend on any single source of security. They build multiple forms of capital: financial savings, diverse skills, strong relationships, physical health, and mental resilience. This isn't about paranoia, but about creating optionality. When you have multiple sources of value and meaning, the loss of anyone doesn't devastate your entire life. Apply Stoic principles to all your investments, not just financial, but investments of time, energy, and attention. Focus on what you can control: your effort, your learning, your character, rather than what you can't: market returns, other people's recognition, immediate results. This creates what we might call Stoic compound interest. Small, consistent investments in your character and capabilities that compound dramatically over time. The Stoics were early systems thinkers. They understood that everything is interconnected, that short-term and long-term consequences often differ, and that focusing on principles rather than outcomes creates better results. Instead of asking, "How do I feel about this right now?" ask, "What kind of person do I want to become? And what would that person do in this situation?" The most anti-fragile thing you can develop is your character. External circumstances can take away your money, your job, your health, even your relationships. But they cannot take away the wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline you've developed. History is full of people who lost everything externally, but maintained their essential dignity and virtue. Nelson Mandela in prison, Václav Havel under communist oppression, Anne Frank in hiding. The ultimate anti-fragility is creating value that extends beyond your own life. When you develop Stoic character, you naturally become a positive influence on others, your family, your community, your work environment. This creates what we might call Stoic succession planning, not just leaving financial assets, but leaving a legacy of wisdom, character, and resilience that benefits future generations. In a culture designed to make you weak, dependent, and reactive, becoming anti-fragile through Stoic practice is genuinely revolutionary. You become someone who cannot be easily manipulated, who finds opportunity in adversity, and who creates value regardless of circumstances. When enough people develop these qualities, it creates a counterculture, a network of individuals who operate from principles rather than impulses, who make decisions based on long-term thinking rather than immediate gratification, and who contribute to solutions rather than just complaining about problems. This is what they don't want you to know, that you have the power to become unmanipulable, anti-fragile, and genuinely free. The wisdom is ancient, but its application to modern challenges makes it more relevant and more revolutionary than ever. The choice is yours. Will you remain a victim of systems designed to profit from your weakness? Or will you join the ranks of those who have discovered what Marcus Aurelius called the citadel of the self, an inner fortress that no external circumstance can breach? We've covered minutes of deep analysis, practical techniques, and historical wisdom. But knowledge without action is merely entertainment. The question now is, what will you do with what you've learned? You stand at a crossroads. One path leads back to unconscious consumption, emotional reactivity, and dependence on external validation. The other leads to conscious living, emotional mastery, and inner-directed purpose. The Stoic path isn't walked alone. Find others who share these values. Create relationships based on mutual growth rather than mutual entertainment. Build communities focused on virtue rather than consumption. Start small, but start today. Choose one morning practice, one evening reflection, one pause technique. Build the foundation of a philosophical life, brick by brick, day by day. Remember, in a world that profits from your weakness, your strength is rebellion. In a culture that thrives on your distraction, your focus is revolution. In a system built on your dissatisfaction, your contentment is the ultimate act of defiance. The ancient Stoics knew something that modern America doesn't want you to discover. True freedom comes from within. Now you know it too. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge? If you have come this far watching this video, we really appreciate you. And if this video has provided value to you, like and subscribe for more content that challenges conventional wisdom and provides practical philosophy for modern life. Share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And most importantly, begin your own Stoic practice today. The revolution starts with you. The time is now. The choice is yours.